Sadly, you can't, because now people are just looking at you. They're waiting for that one wrong moment, wrong image to come out so that they can have their share of fun.
One of the biggest demands from the film industry, especially for those that are in front of camera, and I say this specifically for Hindi cinema, is the pursuit to look objectively attractive and presentable. What is considered to be conventionally attractive and what compels a viewer to get organically drawn towards an actor? Their skill and personality being a part of it, but when one is in a visual medium, there is excess pressure towards maintenance. There is such a huge obsession with nostalgia that the audience wants their heroes, especially in Hindi cinema, to never age. If I take the example of Hrithik Roshan, an actor who is described as the Greek god of Indian cinema, beyond just being a talented actor and dancer, one was overwhelmed how objectively attractive the leading hero was. At 50, however, I wonder whether Hrithik has the pressure to live up to the same beauty standards that he made mainstream in his late 20s and 30s. I remember seeing the promotions of Fighter. When the teaser and trailer dropped, there were genuine complaints by fans talking about how Hrithik looks old in the film. The man is 50 and people were complaining about him having wrinkles. These unrealistic standards we set on actors to be in an age cryo chamber of sorts where they never change from the first time we saw them in films makes me think about the pressure on Indian actors and how it may affect them psychologically. Does a Hrithik Roshan really need to have washboard abs at 50? Does Shah Rukh Khan at almost 60 have to go through a rigorous training regime to have, again, washboard abs in Pathan? It all made me wonder about the pressure and the complex psychological impact on men, which has somewhat become mainstream with women in cinema.
I've realized that so much of our conversation happens around the body. The moment you enter a place, people will say, "Oh, you've lost weight, na? Lovely. You've put on a little weight." It's always about that. It's great to motivate other people as long as it's about fitness and it's not about unrealistic goals of being, so-called beautiful.
The pressure on female actors to fit a particular beauty standard has been talked about by several publications. Women, while growing up through hoardings, magazine covers, and entertainment, have seen a particular prototype of the conventional female lead or model and constituted those faces and body types as being conventionally attractive. While the concept of what is considered to be attractive varies from decade to decade, and there has been a huge effort by brands and movies to change the discourse around what is conventionally attractive and actually allow for a spectrum of shapes and sizes to have become mainstream with a great marketing push, the discussion around body dysmorphia for women has been debated quite a bit. The debilitating effects it has on them physically and psychologically to fit a particular conventional standard.
Why are women who are naturally Indian, curvaceous body, who are voluptuous, are being discriminated and being put down and let down? Why? What are your beauty standards? I mean, wait, hold on. It took you Kim Kardashians to realize how sexy the curves are? I mean, look at Indian women. Oh my God.
If you just take the example of female actors that were in mainstream cinema in the mid-2000s, you would see that most actors fit the Victoria's Secret prototype. Extremely lean and a conscious effort to come across as if they've only had an almond and a drop of water as meals in the day. You look at Aishwarya Rai in Dhoom 2, Priyanka Chopra in Aitraz, Lara Dutta in Blue, Bipasha Basu in Jism, you could actually gauge of what constitutes a conventional female lead in Hindi cinema in that era. The most talking topic during the same time was when Kareena Kapoor dropped the size 0 for a film like Tashan, and the sheer hysteria it caused for what she achieved physically. What's even more alarming is that this was the pre-social media era, where there was such lack of information regarding how one can achieve such objective goals that those who would want to follow would actually execute unhealthy practices to achieve the same. But what is body dysmorphia and why do I want to talk about it today? Defined as a mental illness characterized by constant worrying over a perceived or slight defect in appearance. Imagine the pressure where you are surrounded by conventionally attractive men and women. You go for auditions and those in positions of power tell you that you don't fit the bill. Going further with their feedback, pointing out several physical flaws that you have and how it is only if you make these specific changes will you succeed. In an echo chamber of these thoughts and perspectives being constantly projected towards you, even a person who was perfectly fine and attractive would assume that there is something wrong with them. You know, when one speaks about physically making fun of each other in a boys group, it is all said in jest, all jokes, where we don't think about the psychological ramifications it may have. It's like the triggering words at a family gathering where that one annoying bua and her entire purpose is about pointing out you have gained weight. These are microaggressions that make someone a shell of themselves, less confident, and while some can positively incorporate healthy habits and a lifestyle to achieve their goals, taking these negative emotions in their stride and making some productive choices, all men and women are designed differently.
आप बिल्कुल मत लोड लेना किसी की ट्रोलिंग की. नाखुश है लोग अपने जीवन से, वो दूसरों को टारगेट करते हैं.
One looks at the mirror and starts assuming the several flaws they may have physically and sadly work towards cosmetically changing the same, hoping to reach an unrealistic image of what is perfect. The sad reality is that the summit of what is physically perfect is never achieved and the changes continue, not realizing you are in so deep that you have absolutely butchered a perfectly presentable face. This is something that specifically Courtney Cox went through post-Friends, the pressure that comes with aging and one wanting to halt the natural process and in some way reverse engineer something that is destined for you.
You know, I think I was trying to keep up with getting older and trying to chase that, you know, it's something you can't keep up with. So the more you relax into it and the less I try, because sometimes you find yourself trying and then you look at a picture of yourself and go, oh God.
Yeah.
Like, you look horrible.
The Fountain of Youth is a work of fiction, and this is something I believe is not spoken about enough regarding men in the film industry. I absolutely hated the discussion around Rajkumar Rao and Srikanth in recent months. An actor with such an impressive filmography, one of the few actors classically trained, an outsider having made it so big in a rather incestuous and closed-off industry, and one who still challenges himself with a variety of roles, and one has transformed the discussion around the talented actor just to be about his physical appearance. We talked about body shaming and putting actors in a micro lens and how this may have deep psychological impact on them. But we don't think twice before highlighting their physical flaws and simply making a mockery out of them for social media engagement. Everything about Srikanth became less about the performance and more about how Raj looks. And I feel like the same discussions talking about someone's physical appearance would have been condemned had it been a mainstream actress. But because Raj does not have a rabid fan base, it's almost considered acceptable. The hypocrisy of the discourse around social media, especially the Indian audience, that infuriates me is that we cannot assume the actors to be playing just characters. The added pressure on actors, especially stars that exist, is that their characters have to be an extension of their off-screen personalities. So if Salman Khan has made bodybuilding mainstream and looking like $1 million in his prime, we somewhat have the same expectation from him at 58 years old. When a star like Salman gets captured by the paparazzi and looks mildly out of shape, we are the first to point out that he has let go of himself. Things are not the same anymore, constituting him as lazy. We project the same Kaleshi Bua energy in the comment section while giving gyan about how Bollywood projects unrealistic beauty standards.
If that has been one of the ingredients that people have incorporated into the mold of you as a star, then you have to uphold that as well. So you have to look a certain way, which is one of the most distracting things for me as an actor, you know, because I rather spend all of that time getting deeper into my emotion.
I mean, look at the pressure that Prabhas has to deal with. You get unprecedented success with a movie like Bahubali, where you look nothing short of a demigod. And there is an expectation now for you to physically look like the version of that in the movies ahead. The physical exhaustion that may have set in for both actors Prabhas and Rana Daggubati over the course of 5 years may have put so much pressure on their bodies. And no one talks about the complicated procedure of maintenance when you go through such a strenuous physical transformation. Now, Prabhas is subject to getting ridiculed for his physical appearance, not generating a morsel of empathy from us as viewers because he doesn't look like Mahindra Bahubali anymore. This also has led to production companies becoming adamant to use de-aging techniques to make sure the audience does not get accustomed to their favorite heroes aging. A horrible precedent, but also a reflection of the standards we have set for the actors. I would only wish that individuals think before they comment on a public figure's physical appearance. For when the tables would turn, one should try and understand what you may process mentally when one deems it fit to call out your physical flaws and make a mockery out of it publicly. I understand that this is a visual medium and this is their bread and butter, but just like our moms and dads, our favorite heroes also age, and I think it's pretty damn crazy for us to assume that they are anyway close to the fantasy of Oscar Wilde's Dorian Gray, a man selling their soul for eternal youth and beauty. Playing catch up can be so debilitating, and I think about this pressure and I can't help but empathize with so many actors. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you think about this same phenomena. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the handle is right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.